To the Charitable Giving Resource Center. Glad that you could all join us today. It looks like some of our Midwestern friends are taking advantage of webinar today with a little bit of snow that we're having. So glad that everybody is safe and at their desk today. We're excited today to talk once again about the iDonate, a gift management system that we've been made aware of. And you know, first and foremost, what I tell all of our nonprofits that we work with is we are a resource center. So as things come across our desk that look like they would be beneficial to nonprofits, we want to make sure you know about it. This happens to be a resource, which means you don't pay us anything for this. We bring it to you and help you become better informed about it. But as a resource, we believe that this is going to help nonprofits tap into a particular part of donors' assets that we never talk about, and that's non-cash assets. So today, Joni Pine, who's an associate with Charitable Giving Resource Center, will be doing the webinar. I'd like to remind people that we'll take questions at the end of the webinar. So if you could jot those down on a little piece of paper and let us know what those are at the end, we would be very happy to answer those. I guess a couple of just housekeeping notes here. We do have the printouts for people to look at here. We are working at getting those printouts out to all of you ahead of time so that you can print them out and look at them. Right now, that hasn't been easy for us to do using the system we have, so just know that we're attempting to make that better for you as well as we go into this year. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Joni Pine, and Joni will be talking about non-cash assets and how they can work for you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm very glad to be here today, and we are going to get started. So again, we're going to be talking about the challenge and opportunity with non-cash assets, and as you can see here in our first screen, the percentage here that we have is a challenge, and it can be an unusual challenge that we have the non-cash giving 10% in non-cash, and 90% of cash is given in nonprofit giving. And America's Wealth is opposite of that. So America's Wealth is held in non-cash, 90% is opposite of that. So you can see how we have the opportunity and the challenge there, and what a wonderful opportunity we have as a nonprofit to tap into that. So our first question right off the bat, how much do you get in non-cash asset giving in general as a nonprofit? And an average percent from non-cash donations as nonprofits is 11%. Online and mobile giving are growing and are not going away. And we love these statistics that we're going to share today. In 2011, online fundraising grew 19%, and each usable email address is worth $12.92. And I love that statistic because it shows the value of those email addresses in your database. And sometimes I think we forget the value of those emails, so I hope that we're always, as nonprofits, continuing to evaluate how do we use our emails, are we communicating with our donors and keeping our database clean and updating our emails in our database. 2011 will be the first year when a majority of donors of all ages will make at least one gift online, and 69% of donors of all ages now prefer electronic over print communication. And this is obviously a huge leap towards electronic communication to everyone. So online and mobile giving is growing, and that brings us to our next question, how much do you get from online giving? Total donations to a nonprofit, and the average percent is 8%. So that's current, and that leads us to this next great opportunity. With a 20+% annual growth, 8% online giving becomes 30% in only a few years. So on that last screen we saw 8%, but only in a few years with that growth and those stats that we just shared, we have a huge growth opportunity of that becoming 30% in just a few years. So we wanted to talk about that with iDonate. So iDonate is going to talk, iDonate offers a great opportunity and a lot of different things.
I want to interrupt just a minute, if I could, Joni. I want you guys to think about what Joni just said, that 69% prefer electronic communication over print communication. And think about how you are currently talking to your donors. My guess is that 90% or more of the information you send out currently is sent out in print form. So we can't forget that our donors of all ages are now becoming much more savvy when it comes to the computer and electronics. Think of how many iPads have been sold and are now being used with, again, donors of all ages. How many of our older donors are now using Skype to communicate with their grandchildren across the U.S. and across the world. So don't underestimate what your donors are capable of doing, because I know I'm guilty of that thought, because for many years we thought, oh, people who are 65 and older, most of them don't even have a computer. That statistic has changed dramatically, and if you're not changing with that statistic, you are missing a very big boat of potential donors, and particularly in this non-cash asset category. The last slide that Joni put up asked if you're ready to go from 8% of your donors giving non-cash assets and online giving up to 30%. Are you ready for that? Because if you don't have emails and you haven't been collecting those and you're not thinking about how to push your information out electronically, again, you are missing the boat on something. So if you take away nothing more from this presentation today than the fact that you have to start thinking differently about the way you present information, then I think we've really brought a good resource to the table today. So think about that long and hard at the end of this presentation today. How are you going to change with the trends that are changing in donor giving?
I think that's a good reminder, Sue, and also even going back to that statistic of the value of the email, that almost $13 value, we often put so much weight in a mailing address and not in the value of an email address. So I think it's a good reminder, too, of we're going into that electronic communication era. So iDonate offers that in many different ways. So I'm going to kind of go over this comprehensive view of what iDonate offers. First is a gift page, a multimedia page presenting the nonprofit story and encouraging visitors to share the nonprofit gift page socially. So that's kind of the first thing it offers. Enterprise management, a gift module, campaign management, and closed loop analytics. So that's kind of a big picture offerings that iDonate gives, and it's all cloud-based. So you can kind of see a snapshot of what iDonate offers. And here are the different roles of iDonate. So on top here are the gift management, so social sharing, multimedia landing page, and high impact contribution page.
Let's talk a little bit about those three under the gift management. I know that for many of us, the whole social media and social sharing is just this big black hole. Nobody wants to jump into it, but everybody wants to be a part of it. What iDonate helps you do is utilize Facebook and Twitter to send out messages to emails and phone numbers talking about online cash giving. So when we talk about campaigns here, that's something that all of us should know what that term means. Campaigns are generally year-end campaigns, capital campaigns, specific project campaigns. This is a specific non-cash asset campaign. So you can use the social sharing to share non-cash asset giving. You can use iDonate on what they call their multimedia landing page. They give you the option to start out with kind of the bare bones approach of iDonate. And then you can customize it as you grow with the non-cash asset side, meaning you can post videos that talk about the impact of the dollars, both cash and non-cash, that your donors have given to your organization. How powerful is that? And I'm here to tell you that posting videos on your website brings you up on the web finder page, so Google search and all of those. The more times you utilize videos and post those out there, the higher you're going to start ranking in that search engine. So what iDonate can do for you is pull all of those multimedias, the print piece to put on your website, the video piece, the pictures, the telling of stories. So that's what they need about that multimedia landing page. It's a one-stop shop for cash and non-cash asset giving. So it's opening your donor's world to another aspect of giving. And so that high-impact contribution page, too, by telling your stories the way you do and helping them better understand that now they could give that used car, or they could give that old iPhone to you through this mechanism, you now have created a much higher impact when it comes to that donor contributing to your nonprofit.
And then under donor management, it's integrated fully with Salesforce. And then it also allows integration with other programs and allows integration that way as well.
So keep in mind, if you currently use Constant Contact, in meeting with the iDonate folks down in Dallas last week, I was told that they are getting very close to having an integration with Constant Contact. So there was a short period of time with this group where you had to have a specific mechanism of how you send out your mass emails. They wanted you to be on a certain platform, but they found out very quickly that nonprofits all do this very differently across the U.S. And even right here in the Midwest, many of us do it differently. So know that if you currently don't have a good donor management system, Joni's going to talk a little bit later about how you could integrate into Salesforce, which is a donor management software for a very low fee and have an ongoing, very strong, very deep donor management system.
And just when you look at this, the many roles of iDonate, just this page here, this is a fully integrated marketing communications program. And I think that is, in and of itself, such a strong thing that we have as development officers. We always want one message going out in many different ways. So to have that fully integrated marketing communications tool, that's a huge thing that iDonate offers. So here is kind of what happens when a non-cash asset comes in to your door. So this is kind of the flow that happens. So number one here, a donor enters the non-cash donation on the gift page and receives an email with a thank you and next steps. Number two, iDonate reviews the donation and decides yes or no and sends a donation instruction to the donor.
Now, why would they say no? I think it's important for you to understand that iDonate is a non-cash asset receiving resource for you. They are not going to receive boxes of baby clothes. They are not going to receive large, bulky hard drives. Now, if you have lots of them, a donor wants to give 50 or 60 of them, then that can be donated online, and iDonate will coordinate that. But generally speaking, they are here to make sure that you get the biggest bang for your buck. Because how do they get paid for this? Well, they get paid by making sure they get top dollar for the item that was donated to your organization. Because there is something called a disposition fee or disposal fee attached to it. So when the donor makes that gift on your gift page and they receive the thank you, the next steps are going to say, shortly you'll hear from iDonate that will let you know if this gift is something that we can proceed with. Once they say yes or no, they'll let the donor know that. If it's yes, then they're going to send the donor instructions, similar to, that happens to be an iPhone, let's say. They're going to send with the email a little slip that they can print off and actually tape to the front of an envelope and drop it in the mail. They don't have to do anything with postage. If it's something like a car, a used car, or maybe a boat or some jewelry, they will get a call from an actual person who will say, John Smith, I see that you donated a car. I wanted to let you know that Henry Ford is coming over on Thursday at 2 o'clock to pick up the car and the signed title of the car that you'll be giving to charity XYZ. So they take everything out of your hands. All you have to do is say thank you and make sure that your website is kept up to date with some good videos and stories about how this has helped. I'll let Joni continue with the gift pool, but again, I want you to know that not everything is accepted through iDonate.
Number 3, iDonate picks up the donation, or the donation is mailed to iDonate and the title is transferred. Number 4, the asset is sold through an iDonate vendor network. And this is so noteworthy here, the value of the nationwide network alone that iDonate has. We as nonprofits ourselves, we don't have this wonderful network that they have and they've created. So it's a huge asset that iDonate has, this wonderful network that they've worked with and can get the top value of the donation.
Yeah, when I worked at a large healthcare institution, I recall getting a call from a donor one day, and they had a collection of a particular artist's prints, something like 30 or 40 of them, and they wanted to give them to us. And I had to tell them no, because one, I wasn't sure what the heck I was going to do with them. It wasn't something that we would post throughout the hospital because it didn't really match with our mission, and they were very specific kinds of prints. So I had to say thanks but no. So what did they do? They went to the University of Iowa, who has this network built for themselves. So Joni is right on the mark saying this is something important to understand, that regardless of where your donor is, if they live in Maine or they live in Los Angeles, California, or anywhere in between, they have somebody somewhere who can help dispose of that non-cash asset, liquidate it to cash, and send you a check. Really important to think about that hands-off approach that you'll need to have. You don't have to say no to them. iDonate says no to them if it doesn't work. So they take a lot of that monkey off your back and really make this a very easy way to accept non-cash assets.
Number 5, the final gift receipt and value is sent to the donor from your organization, from the nonprofit. So it's very personal with your logo on it, very personal, signed by your CEO or your development officer. And finally, the net proceeds are distributed to the nonprofit. And so from a snapshot here, what nonprofit has the time or availability to create this process internally? What a great thing to outsource to a wonderful program like iDonate. So maybe, Sue, you want to talk about what can you donate?
I'd be happy to. Again, they can't take everything, and I think when we all stop and think about that, it's like, yeah, okay, I get it, because you really don't want everything. So what is accepted is real estate. So that could be farmland, it could be a house. It certainly isn't timeshares. Those, you don't get much for them anymore. Business inventory. Now this is an area that a lot of people don't think about. What if you have a donor, a board member, or a friend of your organization that is in a very successful business, and suddenly they swap out a particular item and they've got this overflow of boxes of things that somebody else could use. Through iDonate, they can gift that business, excess business inventory to your organization, and they will dispose of it and send you the money. Electronics, big on the list would be iPhones. It's estimated that in December of 2012 alone, more than 8 million iPhone 5s were purchased. Now, what do you think happened to the iPhone 4s that they all replaced? Well, I know at some people's homes that I know, those phones are sitting in a drawer or they're sitting in a cupboard, and so you want access to that because the average retail value for those on that third-party disposition network is about $200. Think about that. $200 times 8 million. I don't know about you, but I'd like a piece of that action. They can give boats, they can give vehicles, and then there are other items. As I talked about, they generally won't pick up one hard drive, but if somebody has a large number of those, we can certainly, or they can certainly help you do that. Now, what's not accepted? It doesn't accept donations with a low market value. If there's just not enough there to generate significant proceeds for your cause and to actually dispose of it. So again, things such as timeshares and most types of artwork. Now, there are some collectibles that they have had very good success in disposing of. So that's not to say all artwork, but there are some that just don't go for much on the open market. Always submit the donation request. I would rather go in knowing I have a 50-50 chance than I had a 0% chance. So it's really important to think about that particular one. I want to talk a little bit about one that happened just before Christmas. For those of you who aren't familiar with our office setting, CGRC resides in an office space with 3 other businesses. One of them happens to be a fee-only financial planning firm. So out in our lobby, we show a number of videos as clients are waiting, and one of them happens to be I Donate. You're going to see that in just a little bit. But when that video was showing, a client of the advising firm watched it. And when they got into the advisor's office, they said, gosh, Stan, my wife passed away a number of years ago, and I'm now remarried, and I have some excess jewelry from my previous wife that, the kids don't want at this point, and obviously my new wife doesn't have an interest in them. Is this something I could give to a nonprofit through that I Donate thing I saw out there? The question is absolutely. But I also want you to know that for jewelry, while it may have had an appraised value of just over $100,000, it didn't yield over $30,000 because they're simply going to melt down the metal. So whether it's white gold, yellow gold, whatever it happens to be, they'll get some out of that. And then the gems that are in the jewelry, it really depends upon the quality. So that's where the main value is going to be. So that's something for you to know, that if a donor comes to the table and says, well, I have jewelry that's appraised at $100,000, it's important for them to know they're likely not going to get a gift receipt of $100,000. They'll have to work with their CPA or advisor to determine what is actually tax deductible. And for you as a nonprofit to understand that you aren't going to get a full $100,000 in cash for that. And that was, I think for a number of us, was kind of a, like, oh, you mean we'll get $100,000? No, but you did get $30,000 that you didn't have a few hours ago. So always submit the donation request, and let's see if it's something that they can take care of for you.
Okay, so here is where we talk about kind of the snapshot here of what I Donate offers. And so we have I Donate Gift, I Donate Marketer, I Donate Enterprise, and underneath all of it is the I Care service. So we're going to go under each of those and talk about that. So I Donate offering under I Donate Gift, when you need something more than a simple cash form, and this is the really basic part of I Donate. And when you need to present your story with impact, and these are what we're talking about with videos on your website. This is cash and non-cash gifts on your website. And when you need to share your story via social media. This is very basic, and our recommendation is not this recommendation.
Yeah.
We do offer it. I Donate does offer it, but it's kind of the entry level of I Donate, and it doesn't really give the full support of what I Donate would do for you and for any nonprofit.
Right. Let's admit it. As fundraisers, if somebody gave us a list of items or services we could purchase from them, what's the first one we're going to look at? the cheapest one. Now, this one is the least expensive of all of their offerings. It gives you just the basics. But Joni is right. We can't in good faith tell you that this is a great option to do. It's out there and you can do it. But if all you're going to do is put a button on your site and not create campaigns that surround non-cash assets or learn how to do that through iDonate's offering and services, then I say shame on you. That is not a good use of your donors' dollars. You're not being a good steward. So if you're going to go into this, I would say don't be tempted to do the lowest priced item. Go just one step up where somebody's going to help you go through and create campaigns. Joni's going to talk about that one.
So that would be the iDonate Marketer. So this is where you're going to inform your donors about your organization's mission, activities, successes, and its needs. And when you need to measure your campaign's effectiveness in the terms of gift received, and this is also campaigns.
Right.
So you also receive 3 campaigns with this level as well.
So what that means, when Joni says you receive the 3 campaigns, they are going to work side by side with you and your donor database and help you create a campaign. And they've got templates out there, thousands of templates, depending upon what it is you're doing. Maybe you want to start this non-cash asset giving because you've got it's Child Abuse Month in April, and that's the social service that you provide. And so you want to do a non-cash asset in April that surrounds child abuse. They can help pull one out of their templates that says, this is kind of where we want to go. Let's customize it for you, and let's get it sent out. They're going to help you from start to finish. When do you send these out? What should the text say? How do you message it? Is there a particular time of the week or the day that you should send it? How do you evaluate the effectiveness? And some of you might know the term Google Analytics. Well, the analytics that they have go much deeper than that. It's going to tell you where people found out about you and about non-cash asset giving and about online giving. So it helps you understand how to build stronger campaigns down the road. So I'm hoping you're seeing the difference here between gift, which gives you just the basic gift acceptance, and then the marketer. You now have the basic gift acceptance, and on top of that, it's like icing on the cake, you're getting how to create the campaigns and how to know if it's effective.
And then one step up is called iDonate Enterprise. So this is a next step up when you might need a donor management system. And this is what we talked about earlier with Salesforce integration. So this is when you would get, correct me if I'm wrong, Sue, but 10 licenses with Salesforce. And that is a huge financial gain towards any nonprofit. So I know that's a huge point of discussion for any nonprofit is how do we sort our data? What system are we going to use? So if that's on the table for your nonprofit and you're in the midst of discussing moving towards a new system or you're not happy with yours, this would be a great, iDonate Enterprise would be a great one for you to discuss because you get 10 licenses with it.
Yep.
And when you need more than one gift page and when you need to connect iDonate with your existing software and system. So iDonate Enterprise is a great value.
Yep.
And iCare. So this is basically support from iDonate.
And you get that with all 3 of the previous little buttons Joni talked about. They're going to help you set the system up. You're going to have customer support. And all but the basic, you're going to get those 3 emails that they're going to help you with, those 3 campaigns. That's really important to understand.
And so we're going to show you what does this look like, and we're going to just take 2 minutes and show you a wonderful video to kind of give you a snapshot about what iDonate is out to do.
Okay, it's going to look a little weird for a minute because I have to go out to the web to pull this up. So if you'll just oh, there we go, good. I thought we were going to lose it for a minute. Okay, let's get it started here for you. Well, I don't know about you, but every time I see that, I think, holy cow, that is definitely something big. We've talked with a couple of organizations like the Y. For any of you who are in healthcare, maybe an organization like the Y where you have monitors talking about your programs that are coming up, this little minute and 57-second video is so impactful. The first time I saw it, I sat there thinking, oh my gosh, I have a storage unit. I have stuff in my basement. So it makes people start to think differently than they did before they saw it. And I could never have done that in my own words or face-to-face, but in just less than 2 minutes, you can change the thought process of your donors and others who see this.
Yeah, and with I Donate, any of these levels comes with that use of the video on your website or, you know, any use of that video in any way you need to use that in your nonprofit. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty of the basic pricing. So you can see the I Donate gift is $49 per month. The marketer level is the $99, and the enterprise is $199. And on the left-hand side of this matrix here, you're going to see what that all includes, and we kind of highlighted that on a higher level earlier, but you can see there on the left the details of those. And again, down here on the email service levels, you're going to see the different number of emails, different levels. So obviously nonprofits have different sizes and different number of emails in their database, and that goes up on the different levels per.
Right, so that $30 per month for 0 to 5,000 contacts or donors, emails, it's the number of emails you're going to send it to. So they'll help you pull all the campaigns together and market it and customize your site. But when it comes down to it, there is a fee depending upon what server you go through or what, I guess, group you use, Constant Contact, whatever it happens to be. So they're passing that fee on to you. So if you have between 0 and 5,000 contacts, you can send X number of campaigns a year or a month, but it's going to cost you $30 a month regardless of how often you use it that month.
And then the iCare service, this just kind of summarizes some of what's included in that as well. So what we call the next steps, I Donate calls onboarding. So that's the next term here. You can see if you go to the I Donate website, that's where you sign up or you contact them to get started. That's the phone number there that you can provide your credit card or billing information.
Their preference would be for you to provide a credit card so that every month they could just bill to that card. And for a lot of nonprofits, they like that feature because then it's very easy for their CFO or their accountant to determine where are the expenses going. It can be categorized very easily. You're not trying to find receipts. But there are some of you who don't utilize credit cards. And if that is the situation, they will work with you on what we call ACH out of an account. So instead of writing a check every month, they could just ACH it out of your account as well.
And like Sue said at the beginning, we are a resource center, so we want to serve you in any ways that you have. Maybe you need to go to your board and get approval for this program. Maybe you need to talk to your marketing team or your, go back to people and talk to them. We want to equip you. Maybe you need access to that video. Maybe you need kind of a Q&A or whatever you may need. We want to assist you in that way. So I will give you a call and see if there's any way that we can assist you in taking next steps.
Right. The bottom bullet there that talks about 7 days to a gift, I want you to understand that you can be up and running in 7 business days. So if you go out to idonate.com, you're going to try to enter all your information out there, and it's going to ask for a credit card. So if you don't have a credit card, call the number. Don't go to idonate.com. But once you get signed on, they can, within 7 days, get it hooked to your website, get things functioning. As you customize it, that all happens after those 7 days. So it's important to us. I wanted to make sure that they're going to get you up and running as quickly as possible. And I also know that many of you have a lot of other hats that you're wearing, and if you're not, if you don't have the time to pull together all this customized stuff, you're never going to get started. So get started, get it out there, and then customize as you want it.
Yep, and again, we're here to resource you and help you. So give us a call, and we're happy to help.
There is Barry Waters, who is the sales associate at iDonate. You can call him direct. He can get you all up and running. I would say at this time, if there are any questions that anybody has, if you would just let us know, we'll let you know what the question is from this end and get that answered. Again, I have a lot of nonprofits who say, Sue, why are you doing this? What's in it for you? Well, for me, it's a resource. It's something I can bring to the table and have a conversation with you about. It's a way to help you hone in on, 90% of a donor's assets are in non-cash assets, and yet we almost never talk about that. Again, if just watching this presentation helps you understand that maybe we should be asking our donors about non-cash assets, gifts of grain in the farming communities, then again, I think we've been successful. So what's in it for us? Well, I hope what's in it for us is in it for you as well, and that is opening our eyes to something new and innovative that's on the market that could potentially help our nonprofits in a very big way without us having to put on yet another hat. Now, I'm not telling you you're not going to have to do anything if you venture into this relationship, because it does take a little bit of time and attention, but it is not going to take you a great deal of time or a great deal of attention. They're going to help you through this process and better understand how to utilize this on your website. So if you have questions, give us a call. We'd be happy to help you connect to the video if you need it to show to your board or your executive director, anything at all that we can help you do. Just know that we are always there. Well, I'm not seeing any questions. I'll throw that out one last time. But if there aren't any, I would say thanks for connecting with us today. Hope that you're all enjoying your Tuesday. I know here in Iowa, we've got a little bit of snow on and off again, and I'll be happy when it's just a lot of sunshine and big leaves and green outside my window. So have a great rest of your Tuesday and the rest of the week. And I believe next month we've got a couple of webinars coming up. One actually is talking about charitable gift annuities. That is a program that comes through Charitable Giving Resource Center. I'm happy to report that the pilot program that we launched last year has grown to the point that we've now had to take it nationally. And so I want to let you know what those changes are and how that can benefit you, your organization, and best of all, your donors, regardless of what state they reside in. So with that, thanks and have a great rest of the day.